Recently, at a meeting of the Television Critics Association, which happens like clockwork, just happened. And at that particular meeting, John Landgraf, who happens to be the FX chief of content right now, declared the end of peak TV. What does that mean? Well, it means that with all of the plethora of offerings out there right now, that we are about to see some contraction. I think I want to talk more about this. Let's dive in. Here we go. Now, this isn't the first time that Landgraf has essentially said the same thing. In fact, it's happened before. He's had to eat crow on this a few times, but I'm with him this time. It is a clockwork prediction for him, but he's not wrong. We've probably seen the absolute apex of the number of scripted programming items that are out there. Right now, there are 357 scripted series that have been launched since the beginning of this year. That's up 16% from the previous. And you're starting to see that number go down. And there are a lot of reasons. Obviously, Warner Brothers is going to be cutting back on what they're doing as far as scripted television goes. And you're going to see even more, similar cutbacks as well, because as Nexstar takes over the CW, they'll be doing more unscripted stuff than scripted. There won't be as many well-written shows out there. There might be a lot more, real life drama garbage. I would feel like this is a pretty safe prediction. I also believe, and we'll probably get into it during the course of the video, that these streaming services will start to have contraction. You'll see streaming services combine. You will see the emergence of an aggregate type of a system for streaming content, even beyond the ones that we currently have. I think that is going to signal that as well. And that speaks to the direction that all of these streaming services are headed. That's right. They're headed towards F.a.s.t. In fact, it's a mad rush to F.a.s.t, as it said here in the article from The Wrap. Right now, you have more entertainment options and more programs to consume than ever before. You couldn't possibly watch everything that's produced every month without essentially making that your job. And you are now seeing, because of macroeconomic circumstances, a slowdown in the economy and in content creation. You're going to start to see the engines of that slow down, which means all of these streaming services are moving to F.a.s.t. They're going to free ad-supported streaming. That's where they're headed. And they have to. They have to, because investors are looking at these streaming services very closely now. They're under a lot of scrutiny because they don't make any money. Well, it's not true. Discovery Plus, prior to the merger with Warner Brothers, and in that spinoff, the Reverse Morris Trust spinoff, that merger, prior to that, you had them making probably the most money in average revenue per user, because they were able to take a $7 subscription and add $7 worth of ad tech to it, to mean every customer could be potentially worth about $14 a month or so. You can't really compete with those numbers. Then you have the numbers that are coming out that indicate that you have Hulu, which Hulu makes a lot of money. $12 plus for Disney. Why aren't they diving more into ad tech? Oh, believe me, they're about to. So as you can see, there's a lot more money in the free ad-supported streaming services than there is in the AVOD or SVOD. And that's always been the case. You're going to see all of these services, which FX is part of Warner Brothers, you're going to see them essentially move towards increasing their ARPU. That's going to come at some expense. They're going to have to bring studios together. They're going to have to create synergies that didn't exist before, and they may lose some nameplates. They may lose some channels. You may see a contraction in the number of channels offered by Warner Brothers. You might see the dissolution, and I'm not going to say this is going to happen, of the extended FX network. Maybe TBS or TNT or something similar But you're going to see what they refer to here in this wrap article as de-escalation and consolidation. And this is something I wanted to get to, kind of referred to it a moment ago. Netflix leadership is in the process of doing that right now. They're de-escalating, keeping their content spend at the same level for the next few years, where it is now, which I believe is $17 billion. When you look at Disney, they're contracting a little, de-escalating their spend, spending $1 billion less than they did the previous year on their content spend. Probably a good thing to do considering you haven't been real successful theatrically lately. Can't ride the parks forever. Hollywood spend is coming down across the board, and you're going to see that reflected in film budgets because you can't continue to spend $200 million on films that aren't even breaking even at times, with the exception of Top Gun, Minions, The Rise of Gru, etc., etc. There's not that many films out there that are profitable. And it seems like right now, none of them are actually visiting Disney at the moment. You could see, obviously, the further expansion of ad tech, not just for, obviously, Paramount Global, but also in their channels, of course, like Paramount Plus, but Disney Plus with their ad tech rolling in faster than normal, with possible moves with ESPN Plus and ESPN into a streaming ad-supported venture as well. Because let me tell you, ESPN Plus is garbage. I think I've mentioned that on other videos. You're definitely going to see further speculation, as it's called for in this article, of Disney Plus and Hulu essentially becoming one unit, and seeing Paramount Plus with their Showtime, Anytime, BET, and all their networks becoming one unit, one offering. And it makes the most sense. So with ad support, you will be able to increase your ARPU, and you'll be able to reduce, well, the redundancies around having multiple entities. I think that's where we're headed. So with that consolidation, de-escalation, you're going to see even more things happen. You're going to see a reduced incentive to move from some linear TV options. At the same time, you're going to see the entities avoid the same kind of pitfalls that a lot of the linear television systems fell into, such as the bundling of things. So according to the article, ad-supported streaming viewers have gone from 60 million in 2018 to 140 million in just this year. That's insane. So the ad-supported share of the actual streaming time has jumped to 46% overall this year, making SVOD at 29% and pay TV options of 17% look dismal. So this growing market, according to the article, is partly a response to inflationary pressures and the potential of a recession. Man, would somebody just pay attention? We're in a recession, folks. And that makes it unrealistic for every consumer and company to adopt a pure SVOD service. Why? Because consumers can't afford it. And you want them to consume your content just like they were on the linear side of things, which, again, when I say linear, I'm talking about cable, broadcast, and, of course, satellite. That's what I'm talking about. This is going to lead a lot of companies dealing with harsher realities to essentially consolidate their corporation elements as well. And you'll see maybe a reduction in total jobs within their own corporate structure on top of the elimination of the redundancies of the multiple networks themselves. So this is going to be interesting. The numbers bear out that about 60% of consumers are utilizing both AVOD and SVOD. And that does basically give the industry a chance to study a value proposition when it comes to offering the ad tier into the mix. I understand that, I support that, and I fully expect to see even more ad tech driven streaming in the future. I think we should all expect that. In fact, I think with the recent price increases over at Disney, when it comes to all of their streaming offerings, the only one that might be acceptable to some people financially will be the ad-driven services themselves. Ads are always going to be a part of whatever we consume, either on the front end, the back end, or right in the middle. There's almost no way to get away from it, even with ad blockers and things like that on, let's say, YouTube and other places. You're still going to be bombarded with ads. The question is, how much are you willing to tolerate while still spending a little bit of money to get a streaming service? And I think that's going to be the biggest challenge for these services. but I fully expect to see even more of these entities go more towards an ad-driven model, and we'll be right back to television like we were even before cable. I don't think there's any way around it. But hey, what do you think? Do you think that we're going to see an even greater emergence of the F.a.s.t model where we get more ad-supported streaming? Do you think that people are still going to be willing to pay for the premium level of the service at the same rate that they are now in order to avoid ads? That's a good question. And do you embrace any of this existing technology, like the free ad-supported stuff like Tubi or any of these other services? I'm genuinely interested in knowing. So please utilize the comment section down below and let me know, the answers to any of those questions, or just make comments about anything you want to in regards to this, because I would love to have that conversation. And with that, support other independent creators here on the platform. They absolutely could use your support. They cover subjects like this and share their opinions just like I do. And the only way that they're going to be able to grow is with your interaction, just like me. So they're looking for the same like, subscription, they're looking for comments, and of course sharing out their content. And I appreciate it when you do that with mine as well. I'll just end this the same way I always do. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others. Wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.